Good morning, friends. It's Common Planner decorating time. I woke up this morning, all weekend I've been in with the urge to watercolor. I woke up this morning really eager to do it. And also I just had this vision of I wanted like a firefly scene. So I will be putting time-lapse footage as I talk here of me painting it. But I was just envisioning this beautiful nighttime scene with the really glowy fireflies. So I actually at first looked online to see if I found anything I wanted to use that I could just buy for a couple of dollars, and I'm sure if I'd kept searching I could have found something, but I just became enamored with the idea of painting it myself. So here's some footage of that, and I'll be back. So I still consider myself to be a beginner watercolor artist. I generally am pleased with how my stuff turns out in the end, but I end up having to go over things over and over again in a way that I feel really emphasizes my kind of still intermediate or beginner status. I wish I painted a little more confidently and then didn't have to go back and forth so many times. So you can see me doing the sky over and over again and a couple passes at the grass. But I think it turned out really nice. Alright, so here's what we ended up with, which I'm really, really pleased with. Here, just so you know, not everything turns out great. Here you can see though where we really caught fire. So that's cool. And then I scanned it and I printed it. And I gotta say, it's really a shame. I can't watercolor like this in my journal. I can do some watercolor, but the properties of the paper are very, very different. They hold up to watercolor, but they give a really different effect. So I printed it on clear sticker paper, and I just didn't love, you lose, I did shrink it and stuff, but you lose so much of this texture that's in there and the nuance. So I did also print it on just regular paper, and again, it's not like the watercolor, but it is pretty, and I think I'm gonna use that instead of the stickers. The stickers are easier, but I don't want to sit and be disappointed by the paintings all week, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna go cut these out. So the way I'm envisioning this is actually to go across the top and across the bottom, just to kind of frame it. I'll be covering up the dates, but so I think that's gonna look cool. So next step is to tape it down. So some of you have asked me if I sell stickers of my artwork, and the answer at the moment at least is no. Partly for exactly this reason that if I do that, I want the art to really look as beautiful as possible, and I haven't figured out what kind of paper and settings and whatever can really make that happen. So that's part of the issue. But I will say, if you like this technique, you could easily just use scrapbook paper and cut it down and get a beautiful scene like this. I think that would look really cool. Okay, now for the dates. So the ink I'm using is Pilot Orishizuku Hotaru B by. It's a deeply impractical color by itself, but I think it's gonna work nicely for this. All right, let's see how my skills. How much danger am I in? Splitting through. And then while I'm here, I'm just gonna also just kind of, maybe we'll draw a firefly there later. And should I do one across the bottom here? Yeah, I'm gonna do it, but I'm just gonna do it as a line. So if you've been following along with my like updates, you know that that's taking up the majority of my planning these days, and that this has become essentially just a journal. Not just a journal, but only a journal. And so that gives me a little more room to get pretty decorative in here, which I am really enjoying. I'm doing a lot of like lettering, and I think it's fun. So I've talked about these pens before. I've been thinking about doing like a common planner must-haves, because these are, and these would definitely be on there. These are the Monami Plus pens. They come in a ton of colors. If you have a light hand, you can just use them as a fine liner, but you can also use them to letter, and they're way smaller than like the Tombow Finosuke or whatever, which I find a lot more appropriate to use in my planner. That's what I'm using for like the pink here. It's just smaller, which, believe it or not, is useful. This is the first like kind of plan with me I've done since switching to journal. I don't really want to put anything in here yet. You know, I'm hanging out with some friends on Tuesday and on Thursday, but those have a tendency to get canceled and rearranged, so I don't really want to do that. All right, let's do habits and stuff. I'm gonna put those here at the bottom. I also do want to do a monthly recap. I'm gonna do more of these headings. So for the actual habit trackers, I think I'll do blue to tie a little bit more of that. And that's a very dark blue. I do not have fireflies. I have so many butterflies, but I do have bees, and I know that bees aren't the same, but I kind of think that if I put it over the like light yellow green, it's gonna read like a firefly. The best ink for these kinds of planners with the Tomorrow River paper is the Versa Magic chalk ink. However, I don't have black. The Versa Fine bleeds through. Man, that was brave of me to do it right on my planner. So what I tend to do is ink it, stamp it once to kind of get some of the extra ink off, and then stamp the second impression on the planner, and that kind of helps with some of the bleed. And there's a sticker right here, so honestly, it's not going to matter. And then I just put my watercolor paper, which is what I use for blotting paper, underneath, just to add some like rigidity to that page. All right, I mean, I know it's not a firefly coming at me, but it's good enough for me. I was not pleased with my doodle attempts on fireflies. I mean, I only tried once, so, you know, whatever. But I kind of feel like I've put enough art effort into this spread, and so I am ready to keep it moving, you know? All right, let's letter in the last of this stuff, and we will call it a day and clean up the absolute mess that is my desk. So this is monthly recap. Now, will I be able to fit the word monthly? Always fun. It's looking like yes. All right, and so I'm just gonna fill this in. I'll have to pick a fountain pen ink. I'm leaning towards green, I think, for actually filling in, like a dark blue and a dark green. This ink is like not really legible for writing. Can I use this blue I already have? I think so, which is perfect. All right, so thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you got some inspiration from this Firefly spread and some creative things you can do in your journal/planner. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, friends.